had some inspired debating for the last couple of weeks, and today we are at the second quarterfinals. We already have one team which has won the first quarterfinals and gone on to the semis. Let's see how this one goes. Today's match is between three schools: the Epistemo Vikas Leadership Academy from Hyderabad, the Ramana Vidyalaya from Chennai, and the Indian Language School from Lagos, Nigeria. It's an absolute privilege to see these three teams which have done phenomenally well in their respective pools and have made it so far. Before we move on to the debate today, we are very privileged to have partnered with Stayfree. This debate is powered by Stayfree and brought to you in partnership with Save the Children. Stayfree, as you know, is a brand that works in women's hygiene and do a phenomenal amount of great work for young women entering puberty. Here's a short public service message they wanted us to share before we start with the debate.
मेरे पीरियड शुरू हो गए।
पहली बार हो रहे हैं मुझे, तो काफी अजीब लग रहा है।
पीरियड्स में मुझे आसान काम भी मुश्किल लगता है, बहुत दर्द होता है।
मैं किसी के पास बैठ भी नहीं सकती और जब मैं उठती हूँ बार बार निशान चेक करती हूँ।
घर में एक ही वॉशरूम है तो पैड चेंज करने में मुझे शर्म आती है।
मुझे पैड को कचरे में छुपाना पड़ता है हर बार।
She may not understand what she's going through. She just needs to know. You do. Over 2 million girls will get their first period in lockdown. Your daughter or sister could be one of them. Talk to her. Tell her.
It's normal. It's just a period.
Well, with that wonderful message from Stayfree, let us move on to the debate today. These are the three teams that are participating in our second quarterfinal. The topic before the House today. This House believes that patent laws are an unnecessary legal burden on new enterprise. I'll repeat, this House believes patent laws are an unnecessary legal burden on new enterprise. A quick look at our judges. As you know, we have changed our format a little bit. All the three judges are now neutral adjudicators, no one from the 2 or 3 schools participating. We are privileged to have Mr. Sanjay Datta, who's the principal of the Maharana Mewar Public School, Udaipur, Mr. Philip Barrett, who's the ex-deputy headmaster of the illustrious Doon School, and Mr. Devendra Tak, who's from Save the Children. He's a seasoned journalist who's held senior editorial positions in many very well-known publications. A quick look at the 2 school teams. I believe there's a small change in the Ramana team. If the student could just quickly let me know, I'll update the sheet. The team from Ramana, if you could please let me know of this change.
Yeah, Shubha, it's going to be Kirtika.
Yeah. Is the student speaking against the motion?
Yes, sir.
In case of Roshni, that's right. Against.
Great. All right, so those are the teams from the Epistemo Vikas School. We have Surya, who's speaking for the motion, and Guru would be speaking against the motion. For Ramana Vidyalaya Chennai, Sama is speaking for the motion while Kirtika goes against the motion. From the ILS Lagos, Saugandhika is speaking for the motion while Megha goes against the motion. Surya, you are speaking first. So before we move ahead with the debate, we would love to know you a little bit better, especially for the benefits of the audience who have not seen you debate earlier.
I am Surya Pranav of Epistemo Vikas Leadership School, currently in the 10th grade. And I love researching things and I love debating because it helps me compare my research to see if it's on par with those of other students who I'm debating. So I'm really excited to take part in this debate.
Wonderful, Surya. Surya, are you on a laptop?
Yes.
Your screen seems to be moving back and forth a
Oh,
little bit.
yeah, I'll try to make that happen less, I guess.
Yeah. All right. I think we're all set.
Yeah, let's start.
Surya, if you're ready with your arguments, we will
I
start
am.
your 6 minutes on the clock now.
Good evening, everyone. And before I start, I'd love to express how grateful and excited I am to be here. I am Surya Pranav Kuri, and I am here to speak for the motion. This house believes that patent laws are an unnecessary legal burden on new enterprises. And I will do so on three fronts mainly. Number one, the nature of innovation. Number two, the downsides of the current patent system. And finally, number three, how patents create a system rigged against small businesses. Number one, the nature of innovation. What exactly is innovation? Is it when you create something new, something exciting, something that the world has never seen before? That might be the case sometimes, but most of the time, innovation is an incremental upgrade on existing or multiple existing technologies. Let's consider the iPhone, for example. We can all agree that it is an innovation, but was it completely radical and completely different from everything else that came before it? No. Things like touchscreen displays or touchscreen operating systems had already existed before the iPhone came into play. However, the iPhone just managed to put it all into one good package. So let's say, just like the iPhone, you in 2020 want to create a new innovative smartphone. This means that you have to go through all of the existing patents because keep in mind, you're only upgrading existing technology, and you have to find out which ones to license. You have to read through the sly lines that patent trolls writes to get you to mistake the purpose of their patent. And also you have to take the additional costs that the patent licensing gives. Therefore, patents only create false promises and may even end up working against innovative small businesses. And we from Team Proposition think that is unacceptable. And we stand for true equality for small businesses. In other words, if you're an innovator, you still have to spend a lot of time, effort, and money to see, deal with, and license the necessary patents for your innovation. And the chances are you'll still be victim to a patent troll. And this brings me to my next point, the downsides of the current patent system. Did you know that small businesses make up 60% of the victims of patent troll attacks? And did you know that massive corporations have so many patents that small businesses can't even manage to compete? In 2018, it takes from $5,000 to $10,000 to file a patent, and that is absolutely nothing for a company that makes $200 billion in revenue every year. In 2018, Apple had over 75,000 patents, and Samsung had over 1.2 million. But have these companies ever used even a small portion of the patents in their arsenal? Probably not. So why does this exist? Simple, to block competition from accessing the technology. So if you want to innovate using some of this technology, you're either legally blocked or forced to pay for even some of the most obvious ideas, like say Amazon's buy now button. At the end of the day, giving large corporations the ability to own simple and essential parts of technologies is inherently monopolistic. And Team Proposition goes against these inequalities in favor of a fair and unbiased system, which isn't obviously immoral. Now, let's talk about what kinds of things patents are filed for, right? Because it's so cheap to file a patent and companies have so much money that it's no surprise that companies just end up filing patents for every single thing that they can come up with. Things like adding rounded corners to the edges of a rectangle to try to patent things like the act of filing a patent. I'm not kidding. Somebody tried to patent the act of filing a patent. And these patents not only protect your ideas, but prohibit effectively your competitors from taking these ideas and improving them, making them cheaper or better for consumers. So if you're a small business owner that wants to innovate and say include a rounded box in your invention, but a certain patent prohibits that, you'd be forced to pay royalties for not just the rounded boxes, but for many, many, many things that you can't even foresee most of the time. Does this sound like a lot of incentive to innovate? I'd say no. This sounds like hell. And yet this is the reality that team opposition supports. And so the model that I propose from team proposition addresses these flaws perfectly, which is a financial reward as the direct reward given to innovators for their innovation. This financial reward could either be a negotiated amount, or it could be a portion by industry of the projected income that this invention creates. This could either be done by governments or transnational organizations. And there are a few benefits to this. One, this still incentivizes innovation just like a patent does. But most important, benefit two, it incentivizes manufacturers and inventors to improve their ideas from day one, not in 20 years or 30 years when their patent expires. And it doesn't let massive corporations control the way markets move. This is the vision that team proposition stands for. One where small businesses don't account for 60% of all patent troll attacks. One where massive companies don't dictate the life of small business owners. And one where small enterprise is given the chance to collaborate and innovate. With that, I rest my case.
Well done, Surya. Some powerful arguments there. Let's see how the judges are scoring you on that. Judges, if you could go to the scoring sheets now and put in Surya's scores. Surya's scores go in the first column. Right now, we are filling in the first 3 boxes out of 40 for his arguments. 3 aspects of whatever Surya said in terms of matter, manner, and method, each would be scored out of 40. You are free to fill in any number between 0 and 40 as you see fit. Mr. Tuck, I have your scores. Thank you so much.
You got mine, Shubhayu?
Bharat sir, I have 2 of your scores. If you could just hit enter on the third one.
Okay, one sec.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, sir.
How many of mine can you see?
Sir, I can see the first 2, matter and manner.
Okay.
If you could just fill in the score for method. Once the scores are filled in, if you could just move your cursor left, right to any other cell, that's number would appear on my end as well.
Okay. You're done?
Not, yeah, perfect, sir. Thank you so much. Well, Surya, on your screen now, these are how the judges have scored you at the end of your initial 6 minutes of arguments. Very well done.
And this is out of?
This is out of 120. Each score is out of 120.
Right. Understood.
Yeah? Well done. Well, Kirtika, you're up next. I will stop my share. I understand you were a last minute replacement. Some great stories in sports where people have been chosen at the last moment and have come in to score the winning goals. We would love to know you a little bit better before we start with your arguments.
My name is Kirtika and I'm from Ramana Vidyalaya and I study in 10th grade and I love art, music and sports.
Wonderful, Kirtika. If you're ready with your arguments, we will start your 6 minutes now.
Collins Dictionary defines a patent as an official right conferred on a person or company allowed to make or sell a new product for a certain period of time. Similarly, the word enterprise means any undertaking that is new, difficult, or challenging. Having defined these 2 terms, enterprise as well as patent, I hope one and all would be convinced with the protection of patent as an integral part of any sustained modern enterprise. Good evening, everyone. I, Kirtika, stand before you to strongly advocate that patent laws are not an unnecessary legal burden, but a legal stamp of credibility and legitimacy on new enterprises. I shall be defending both patenting as a system as well as patenting laws as a means to achieve the ends. Patent law is a branch of intellectual property law that confers the right of ownership to inventors. A patent is given to any invention by individual or company relating to a product or process with innovative steps and capable of industrial application. So this goes to say, the history of patent law dates back to 1911, with the amendment in 2005, patents have been seen to extend to all fields of technology, food, drugs, chemicals, and automobiles. Hence, this goes to defend the system of patenting as a legal authenticity of patent rights. Patenting would act as a cover from intellectual theft or poor imitation. On this note, I wonder why my worthy opponents would argue that it is only an unnecessary burden. Having said that, I move to my first contention. Firstly, a patent gives a patent owner exclusive rights of ownership so that nobody else can make, use, or sell the patented innovations or idea. This helps the new enterprise ensure exclusivity in the market and prevents plagiarizing or intellectual theft. No company can claim the patent holder's innovation as its own, and without the holder's consent, no one can manufacture and sell it. Hence, patenting law only means regulation and not a burden. Moving to my second constructive argument, patenting law provides licensed patent as an added revenue. An advantage of getting a patent lawfully registered is that the patent can license it to others to use or even sell it. It becomes a significant source of revenue and also helps to recover the amount spent on research and development. Hence, this only boosts further investments on innovations and it also attracts potential trade links to the budding enterprise. Thirdly, patent law provides protection from patent infringement. The most important advantage of registering patent law is the process of defending patent rights for your own invention against any unlawful infringement. On the other hand, a lawsuit can be filed to stop the illegal sales or misuse of ideas. As a result, the more the patent coverage that you have in a market space, the more is the chance of survival against potential rivals. This brings to my next point of argument. If new enterprises don't patent their product, big companies may definitely take advantage of small new enterprise without a patent for its product, and this can definitely be a harmful practice for the market value of the new enterprise. Lastly, the National Intellectual Property Rights Policy, introduced by the government in 2016, has increased awareness of the advantages of filing for a patent. This policy helps in simplifying the process of the patent application. So, for my worthy opponent who would say it's a cumbersome process, I would like to say that the schemes like Startups Intellectual Property Protection, SIPP, have had a strong impact on many startups. This tells us clearly that it is not an unnecessary legal burden. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, the patent system adds the fuel of interest to the fire of genius in the discovery and production of new and useful things. So the best way to not only measure but also protect innovation is through patent laws. And on that note, I close my case. Thank you, and over to the moderator.
Well done, Kirtika. Your video was a little choppy. We kind of had it stuck for a couple of seconds in the beginning, but I don't think that will factor into your scores. Judges, let's see the scores for Kirtika, I'm sorry.
Can you see mine?
Yes, sir. I can see your scores. If you could just move your cursor away from the last one, sir, then I will take that.
Wait. Yeah, I'm away.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, one small issue. I think you've put the scores into Guru's column. So what I will do is I will move those scores to Kirtika's column and I'll clear that column.
Yeah, I can see that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Bharat sir, I have your scores. Thank you. And Mr. Tuck, I have your scores as well. Thank you so much. Kirtika, just give us a second before we can tabulate.
Yeah.
What was the higher side?
All right, Kirtika. So if you can see the screen These are your scores after your initial 6 minutes of arguments on your screen now. Well done. And Saugandhika, you're up next. Saugandhika, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. We would love to know you a little bit better.
Greetings of the day. I am Saugandhika Peri, and I'm very enthusiastic when it comes to dancing, singing, sketching, painting, writing poems, and of course, public speaking. Thank you so much. And I study in grade 10.
Well, Saugandhika, seem to be the creative one. Let's check out your public speaking skills. If you're ready with your arguments, we will start your time now.
As Bill Gates once said, if people had understood how patents would be granted when most of today's ideas were invented and taken out patents, the industry would be a complete standstill today. Patent laws are the branch of intellectual property law that deal with new inventions. Traditional patents protect tangible scientific inventions such as circuit boards, car engines, heating coils, or zippers. In general, a patent can be granted if an invention is not a natural object or process, is new, useful, and not obvious. I am most certainly for the topic. Patent laws are an unnecessary legal burden on new enterprises. It takes focus away from ideation to implementation. The innovators have to be focused on patenting and not on improvising their product. Suppose you have invested all your time and effort on trying to get a patent, and a big company, as I would like to call a vulture, has got his hands on your invention, adds a small variation, and the patent is theirs. Your product does not need to be of good quality. Just hiring a team of expensive attorneys would get you the patent. Does this do justice to the people who have better ideas for our economic growth? They would just get sued for copying the so-called big companies. Patents legalize copying of ideas. Big companies look around for a small fish, in this case an innovator, look at their product and file a patent, and the product is theirs. Just like the pirates of Caribbean, my friends, they are the pirates of innovation. Faster they steal an idea, faster the patent goes in their hands. Patents thus do not allow the organic ability of innovation to grow. Patents have been with us since 17th century. In exchange of disclosing one's invention, the state grants a limited legal monopoly over exploitation. In theory, a system that encourages more innovation and is good for the society. But recently, the voices of dissent have been rising. Legal costs are high, and specialists game the system to their advantage. Life-saving innovation get priced beyond the means of poor. One of the most common questions that are asked when talking about companies with regard to their innovation would be, how do we prevent someone from stealing our ideas? Should we get them patented? Unfortunately, the answer is not that simple. And this is because the current system for getting patents is no longer in line with how businesses work. And worse than that, in many cases, it is being abused by companies in ways which actually discourage innovation completely. When Steve Jobs started developing the first Apple computer in his garage, he didn't have to worry about patents. They shared and borrowed ideas from their network of fellow geeks. If they had to pay royalties to all the software they borrowed, you wouldn't have the MacBook Pro that you're witnessing this session on. Applying for the patent is a complex process and may take more than a year to get through the various stages and review before you get the patent. A patent offers exclusive rights in the region or area that you have filed the patent in. This means your fantastic invention does not have security in places that you haven't signed the patent in. To acquire a patent is very expensive. There are several upfront expenses for the application process, like hiring an attorney and the patent fee. Depending on the type of patent applied, most of them only last for 14 to 20 years, after which you will have to renew them again before the expiry date. And to receive the patent, you have to disclose all the detailed information about your invention, including how it works, and anybody can get hands on this information. You have to prepare an infringement budget to defend your patent in case someone infringes it. It is costly and a very time-consuming task to prepare the budget, monitor it, and bring someone to judgment for violation of your exclusive rights. Some countries require you to put the invention to commercial use for a limited time frame too. And with the technological and market changes, this can affect a particular patent acquired. Therefore, you will have to seek a patent that is flexible enough to cover your future needs. And my friends, how are we certain of the future here? Patent has to be maintained, and you have to pay fees for the maintaining of legal rights of invention. Otherwise, you will lose all the protected rights. When you patent the idea, your competitors can also file a lawsuit to invalidate the patent if they think they will benefit from it. Here and today, the patents are used as a weapon. In the 1950s, an American inventor filed a so-called submarine patent to claim an early form of machine vision technology. Other decades later, someone developed a barcode and a machine reader system. He sued them to protect his previously unnoticed patents and collected more than $1 billion, even though the real development work was done by someone else. Now, for instance, let's say an inventor A has an idea and has begun working on it, but lacks the resources to file a patent. Along comes a large company B, which is independently developing the same idea and is able to file a patent right away because it has resources. Here, it doesn't matter who had the resources first. It only matters who could file the patent right away. Large company 1, small inventor 0. The result of this is that having a patent does not give you protection from other people using your idea. It gives you the right to attack someone who infringes on your patent, even though you shouldn't have had it in the first place. Patents are not forever, but inventions are. Thank you, and over to the moderator.
Well done, Saugandhika. Very well argued. Let's see how the judges are scoring that. Judges, Saugandhika's scores go into column G, which is the 5th column on the sheet. Mr. Tuck, I have your scores. Thank you so much. Bharat sir, I have your scores as well. Thank you. Mr. Datta sir, I have your scores as well. Thank you so much. Saugandhika, if you're looking at the screen, these are your scores at the end of your 6 minutes of initial arguments on your screen now. Very well done. Excuse me. Let's see how your schoolmate Megha does after you. Megha, good to have you back. We've had Megha in the ILS Lagos's previous round as well, with some fantastic performance there. Megha, we would love to know you a little bit better, especially for the audience who are seeing you for the first time.
So, good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
So my name is Megha Gopikutan and I am a student of class 10. My hobbies are singing and dancing, and my favorite subject is biology. And my ambition is to become a forensic surgeon.
All right. As I told you last time, the CSI Megha, if you're ready, we will start your time for the debate now.
Can you imagine putting yourself into doing something and invest your time, money, and efforts to build your path to success with sheer determination and hard work, and someone just steals it because they're too lazy to build their own? How would you feel? Oh yes, you would feel pretty upset, wouldn't you? Good evening to all. My name is Megha Gopikutan from Indian Language School, Lagos, and I will be going against today's topic: patent laws are an unnecessary legal burden on enterprises. A patent is an exclusive right granted by a country to an inventor, allowing the inventor to exclude others from making, using, or selling his invention in that country during the period of the patent. With patent laws in existence, there is quality assurance of products sold in markets. You get protection for predetermined period, allowing you to keep competitors at bay. A patent gives you the right to stop others from copying, manufacturing, selling, or importing your invention without your permission. It is very hard to convert an idea to market your product or service. So you will need to share your concepts with investors and other partners to get your idea to the market. By having a provisional patent, no one will be able to steal your idea or your concept. If you don't patent your invention, someone will copy it and enter the market with your product. Hence, you will have competition in the market. You also lose the right to compete if that person files a patent for that product. And if this happens, all your efforts and money will be wasted. If you have a patent portfolio, you will increase the market position by preventing other companies from competing in your specific niche. You will thus get better market position and the competition will be low. Therefore, you will get a very good return on investment for your company. You may not be able to commercialize your concept. However, there will be others who will have the resources to turn your idea into a commercial commodity. Your company can then get licensing fees for using your concept. However, if you do not patent your invention, licensing and selling may prove to be challenging or impossible. Patenting can be seen as an indicator of innovation to track rates of technological change or process, or monitor the health of research and development. Where specific patents are linked to businesses, they can occasionally be used as a barometer for judging the current or the future direction of the business's interests. Globally, the number of patent grants has continued to grow year on year, significantly higher than 400,000 patents recorded back in 1990. In 2019, IBM had 9,262 patents assigned to them, ranking first among companies according to how many patents had been assigned to each, and has held the first position in patent grants 24 years in a row. Although notable companies including Samsung Electronics, Canon, Microsoft, Apple, etc. also featured highly. Many of the world's most forward-thinking companies still support the patent system. Without patents and the protective protections that they afford, individuals and companies who will not invest the money it takes to develop new cures for diseases or create new technological wonders. The world's top smartphone rivals have been in court over the patents since 2011, when Apple filed a lawsuit alleging that Samsung's smartphones and tablets slavishly copied its products. Samsung previously paid Apple $399 million to compensate Apple for the infringement of some of the patents at issue in the case. A patent is issued to an individual inventor and not to a company. Alternatively, you can license your patent for others to use it or sell it. This can provide an important resource of revenue for your business. Inventions are marketed or sold both domestically and internationally. However, before releasing an invention, intellectual property is required to be filed. It gives exclusive rights to market the inventions internationally while simultaneously preventing imitators from benefiting the invention. And it also saves trouble of infringing intellectual property rights of other inventors. It allows accessing new untapped markets through means such as licensing inventions or even entering into joint ventures and franchise arrangement. I would like to conclude by saying patent laws encourage inventors to put in all their efforts and unleash their creativity and innovation without the fear of people stealing their ideas. With a high level of brand loyalty, goodwill, and continuous inventions, there is no doubt that patents play a vital role in protecting the firm's inventions. Thank you, and over to the moderator.
Well done, Megha. Some wonderful arguments there. Let's see how the judges are scoring you. Judges, please put in Megha's scores on the last column. Datta sir, I have your scores. Thank you so much. Bharat sir, I have your scores as well. Mr. Tuck, I have your scores as well. Thank you. Well, Megha, if you're seeing the screen, these are your scores after your 6 minutes of arguments on your screen now. Very well done. Sama, we have you next. I don't see Sama online. Yeah, we have Sama with us. Let me just stop my share and make sure that everybody else also gets to see Sama. Yes. Sama, for the benefit of those who haven't seen you the last time, if you could introduce yourself.
Very good evening to all the people present here. This is Sama Syed from 11th Standard of Ramana Vidyalaya, Chennai. To speak about my interests, I love reading books and I do also write poems and short stories. And that's all about me. Thank you.
Well, Sama, your audio is cutting in and out a little bit. Is there a way to improve that connection situation? It's not bad right now. We can hear you.
Can I leave out and then join, sir?
Sorry?
Can I leave out and then join again?
Sure. Well, let's just give it a minute to see if we can improve on the signal situation there. Unfortunately, Sama is also the last speaker we have who's going for the motion. So we don't really have a substitute that we could bring in right now. She has joined back.
Is that better now, sir?
Much better.
I'm
See?
sorry for the inconvenience.
No worries. We knew that we could improve on that. Yeah. All right, Sama. So if you're ready with your arguments, we will start your time for 6 minutes now.
The topic, given that patent laws are unnecessary legal burden, may sound quite profound and lengthy. Allow me to say my quick interpretation of this topic. More laws, less justice. On that note, I begin my constructive set of arguments. Namaste and good evening to one and all present here. I, Sama Syed of class 11, stand before you to propose the motion. This house believes that patent laws are an unnecessary legal burden on new enterprises. In modern usage, the term patent refers to legal right granted to anyone who invents something new, useful, and non-obvious. However, thanks to the origin of the word patent, which comes from the Latin word patere, which means to lay open, that is to make available for public inspection. This takes me to my first constructive point. Details of the inventions are publicly disclosed. To file for a patent application, inventor is required to make public the technical information about the invention. This dissolves the purpose of patent. However, within 6 months of filing an application, all the information needs to be disclosed, failing which the application may be rejected. The impact of legal burden of patents now takes me to my next constructive point. Patent laws lead to overconsumption of time and capital. The process of defending one's intellectual property has been becoming lengthier and costlier. Enforcing the patent rights in court and getting to a judgment costs millions of dollars and consumes at least 3 to 5 years. Most small business enterprises and startups don't have the time or the financial resources to defend their intellectual property. The cost to file a patent ranges from $675 to $950 US. Patenting can be an expensive process even if it is unsuccessful. With patent fees, attorney fees, and the cost of creating drawings, a patent can run anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. A patent has to be maintained, and there are costs associated with that as well. Once a patent is granted, the attendees, it extends the time throughout its life. The failure to pay maintenance costs can result in the inventor losing their rights and protection of under the patent. Also, as the time passes, markets may change, technology may overtake the invention by the time patent is granted. To substantiate this point, I quote the famous example of Apple fighting with Samsung in quote, 5 years after the jury awarded the company $1 billion in damage over the patents. This brings me to my second constructive point. The large organizations exploit patents License fees and regulation according to patent license are being misused. For instance, Levin explains most patents are not acquired by inventors to protect inventions from competitors, but most patents are obtained by large corporates who have built portfolios of patents for defense purposes to prevent other people from suing them over patent violations. This makes it crystal clear that rather than helping the new enterprises, patent laws help to expand corporates to use their capital power and get patents without being prosecuted. Number 3, plagiarizing is nothing but leading to infringement. The purpose of patent laws to protect an invention from being copied. This patent laws is now not serving the purpose in real. Innovations are plagiarized widely. Such infringements to be taken action on need extensive amount of money and time, and this is making it a burden for enterprises to prove infringement. Patent wars are not cheap. There are challenges in enforcement of patent rights in India, though there are civil courts. However, there are no special IC courts yet to set up or deal with these cases. So in a nutshell, the time, the effort, and money it takes to maintain a patent is outweighing the potential for making profits. Having established all the claims with proper evidence, I have reasons to support the motion that patent laws are an unnecessary legal burden on enterprises. With all conviction, I believe I've convinced you. And on that note, I close the case. Thank you. Over to the moderator.
Well done, Sama. Some wonderful arguments there. Let's see how the judges are scoring you. I can see the scores coming in. Datta sir, I have your scores. Thank you so much. Bharat sir, I have your scores as well. Thank you. And Mr. Tak, I have your scores as well. Thank you so much. Well, Sama, on your screen now, these are your scores after your initial 6 minutes of arguments. Well done. Guru, we have you next.
Hey, sir.
Yep. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I will stop my share and have you introduce yourself to people here who don't know you yet.
Yeah, I'm Guru Sai. I'm a student at Epistemo Global. I study in grade 10. And like I said last time, I'm an MPC student. That says a lot about me. I'm very into the tech aspects. I like learning about technology and all that. And this debate really got me interested because of all the legal aspects involved in it. So without further ado, can I start?
Sure, Guru. If you're ready with your arguments, we will start your time now.
Thank you, educator. I am Guru Sai, and today I'll be presenting my argument against the motion in saying that patent laws are an unnecessary burden to new enterprises. Rather, I, as a member of the opposition, believe that having patents proves to be beneficial to new enterprises. I will be presenting my case with a series of arguments, starting off with point number 1. Imagine you have a baby that you spend years of your life, pour loads of money into nurturing and into creating someone who you think is presentable in society. Now, imagine that baby, all of your hard work, is blatantly stolen from you, and you're left with little to no reward for your sacrifice. This is the story of many small enterprises who don't indulge in patents. Every year, $14 billion are poured into the R&D sector by small businesses alone. Again, $14 billion with a B. This substantial investment is not something they can just shrug off, and becomes nigh impossible for them to profit off their work in an understandable time period. This is because of the fact that many competitors can simply mitigate the R&D costs by copying their work and sell it at a cheaper price. But by patenting your ideas, you create a spiked wall that prevents your competitors from stealing your work. Take the pharma industry, for example. The average cost of developing a drug is in the hundreds of millions or billions, according to some estimates. And without a lease that patents provide over their innovations or inventions, it wouldn't be long before certain competitors reverse engineer your drugs and sell for cheap. That's a huge hit to many pharmaceutical companies who rely on the fact that their product is protected by law from their competitors. Point number 2. Having patents in some cases gives you the ability to request courts to grant an interim injunction, which preemptively stops a potential infringer. In other words, they can help deter cautious competitors who want to infringe on your ideas by posing the risk of litigation. This poses an overall advantage to small businesses as it gives them the security from their competitors. Again, spiked walls. Point number 3. Patents not only give you exclusivity, they give you options. Say you're a business that has a patent that's highly sought after. In this instance, a patent that has a unique trait that is it can be licensed. Being able to license your idea means that you, as a small business, have the ability to gain a passive income during the earlier periods of your business. This gives a pristine advantage as having the patent gives new enterprises the new income stream to increase survivability. Take the one-tap button from Amazon, a patent that took a few $1,000s to obtain in 1997, back when the company was very juvenile with negative profits. But look at it now. That single patent is netting Amazon over $40 million every single year. This goes to prove the point of my explanation. Point number 4. In certain parts of the world, like UK, the usage of patented products gives tax exemptions to businesses. This means hundreds of thousands of dollars that can go towards helping your businesses with marketing, more R&D, and more jobs. This results in giving them an indefinite advantage over their competitors. Point number 5. Having a strong patent portfolio is widely traced to a more valuable startup. This is because having a strong and more diverse IP is correlated to a greater sense of innovation. This causes businesses to become much more attractive to buyers. For example, a key reason that Motorola was acquired by Google for $12 billion is because of their large patent portfolio. Point number 6. Having a patent gives you the scaffolding to better negotiate your terms of a joint R&D venture. It can prevent big established companies from bullying smaller enterprises when it comes to sharing the final product, as joint patent sets clears out a visible line of sharing. Finally, to point number 7, having patents gives you the ability to enter international levels of exposure, because when you have an international patent, it gives you a great advantage over your local competitors. To conclude, from being able to stay safe from competitors to gaining the ability to stay strong collaborative ventures with other corporations to tax exceptions and so much more, the advantages that patents hold over new enterprises is much more to justify the opposition in saying that patents are not an unnecessary legal burden. This is also reflected in the statistics, which say that having new patents gives enterprises a 21% more likely chance to experience faster growth when compared to those who don't have patents. With that said, I rest my case.
Well done, Guru, arguing the case for patents really hard there. Let's see how the judges are scoring you. Mr. Tuck, I can see your scores. Thank you so much. Bhattacharyya, I have your score as well. Thank you so much. Mr. Datta, sir, I have your score as well. Thank you so much. Well, Guru, if you are seeing the screen, these are your scores at the end of your initial 6 minutes of arguments on your screen now. Very well done. And this is where we circle back for the rebuttals. Remember, this time the rebuttal is a little more evolved. There are 4 minutes given to you. We expect you to call out the member in the opposition bench and really rebut their points, right? So we will start with Surya. Surya, if you're there.
Yes. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you. Let's put you front and center. Yes, Surya, you have 4 minutes for your rebuttal. If you're ready, we will start your time now.
A lot of the speeches that I witnessed just now take 2 points for granted. That 1, it'll be easy to sell a copied idea. And 2, that the idea behind the whole getting a patent is valid in its entirety. First, let's go with number 1. Is it really easy to sell a copied idea? Well, let's do a case study on this. If it were, wouldn't Chinese counterfeit companies be just as rich as other original companies like Apple? Even because these companies have been notorious for copying from companies like Apple for a very, very, very long time. No. So what do these companies do? They make their products cheaper. So we can get two conclusions from this. One, it's not exactly easy to make a lot of profit from a copied idea because it takes more than that to sell a product. It takes quality, it takes commitment, it takes support, it takes marketing. And two, and if you want to sell a copied idea, you have to do things like undercut prices, which is ultimately good for the consumers. And now I'd like to question whether patents are effective among themselves. A recent Google statistic show that they might be susceptible to 250,000 patent lawsuits. Are they getting, in your own words, the punishment they deserve for infringing on their patents? They're really not. They still have 250,000 pending patent lawsuits. Uh, and I think this just goes to show how ineffective the system has become. Additionally, a lot of the points made in this debate take it for granted that the idea behind the patents themselves is completely valid in entirety. However, let's compare this. Let's compare an idea to an actual bit of property. If I have my water bottle and somebody takes my water bottle away from me, steals my water bottle away from me, let's just say I have one less water bottle to drink from. However, if I have an idea and someone steals my idea, I still have my idea, and the other person, they don't have my idea, they have their interpretation of my idea. And if their interpretation of my idea is better than my own idea, obviously we would collaborate or do something. And if they don't want to, they can sell their product for a cheaper price, or they can make a better mousetrap out of my idea, which ultimately benefits markets and benefits consumers. Consumers are the main beneficiaries here. And Mega made the points that a lot of the forward-thinking companies, all of the forward-thinking companies support patents. Well, of course they do. When Apple is able to file a patent for something as simple as the swipe to unlock feature, I would obviously expect for them to be able to defend the right to have a patent. And these patents create, for large corporations only, a legal right to a literal monopoly from a false premise, as I've discussed before. And she also said that patents encouraged companies to unleash their creativity. Plainly and simply, no, that is entirely false. To common sense, we can understand that patents, in fact, discourage this, because by making sure there's no competition, you wouldn't have to innovate and create the best iteration of your product, something which my model completely solves. And moving on to size baby analogy, as cute as it is, I think it's completely wrong. Because as I've said before, if someone steals your baby, you don't have your baby anymore. But if someone steals your idea, you have two different babies now. So one person can make a better mousetrap to be richer than you if their products are better approved by the markets. The people are the judges here. And I'd like to ask Sai, are you really willing to sacrifice the well-being of the markets for the selfish profits of one single company? One which is, in your own arguments, going to be acquired by a larger company anyway? This is the question that I'd like to ask the people who went against the topic. Thank you.
Well done, Surya. Well done on the rebuttal. Let's see how the judges are scoring you on that. While the judges are scoring you, Surya, solve a problem for me.
Right. Yeah.
You called him Sai. I have been calling him Guru all this while.
Yeah.
So is this Guru or is it Sai?
Just to know him, because his full name is Guru Sai Prasad, call him Prasad.
Okay. So now we have Guru, we have Sai, we have Prasad. I am not sure we allow 4-member teams in this debate. Well, on that note, let's see how the judges are scoring Surya's rebuttal. Datta sir, I have your scores. Thank you. Bharat sir, I have your scores as well. Thank you. Mr. Tak, I have your scores as well. Thank you so much. What the audience does not know, and what these debaters know from having known me from before, is I'm not going to show you your rebuttal scores right now. We are going to get all the rebuttals done and then finally show you the scores. Right? So now we will go across to Kirtika. Let's see if we can get Kirtika on the camera. Yeah. Kirtika, if you're ready with your rebuttal, remember the time limit is 4 minutes and your camera is frozen again. you might want to, I don't know, pause your camera once perhaps. Yeah, now we can see you move. Great.
Now?
No, it's frozen again. Do you want to stop your camera once and start it again? Yeah. It's still getting stuck at times, but I think it's a little better. Don't worry about it, right? If you're ready with your rebuttal, we will start your 4 minutes now.
With the advances China and USA are making in communications, artificial intelligence, and healthcare technology, India cannot afford to sit on the sidelines, and hence the only way for the country to get into action is to ramp up its R&D efforts and embrace a culture of patenting. Greetings once again. I, Kirtika of Class 12, Class 10, present my rebuttals to my worthy counterparts. My worthy opponents stated that new enterprises cannot stand the test of legal procedures. I state strongly that encouraging patent rights is the gateway to progress. India strives to become a USD 5 trillion economy by 2024 to 2025. I wonder how, without innovation and its lawful patent, can this dream even be achieved. Thus, one of the main ways to achieve this is by encouraging small and established businesses to patent their inventions, thereby encouraging exclusivity. I am very tempted to rebut the point that patenting an idea can be time consuming. Time spent initially on getting an idea patented is rather an investment by these enterprises for a sustainable future. A legally patented idea that finally gets approved in the reasonable time frame is always better than a weakly exposed idea in a short span of time. This also gives them an opportunity to make their ideas and resultant products stronger and easily marketable. To my opponents who would claim that patent rights lead to infringement and unnecessary financial burden, I would also like to draw your attention to the fact that the Commercial Code Act is helping to speed up the process with case management hearings and time-bound trials. Section 115 of the Indian Patent Act provides for appointment of scientific advisor to assist in the courts in providing opinions on technical aspects of a matter for speedy trials. To give an example, in 2016, Apple company made a patent claim against Samsung for copying its phone designs in different ways and filed a case too. After nearly a series of 5-year deliberations, jury said that Samsung should pay $539 million to Apple for copying patented smartphone features. I remind my worthy opponents that deciding between two giant corporates is no trivial affair that can happen in a matter of days in fast-track courts. Also reminding that potential loss faced by threat of multinationals is huge compared to the cost incurred for lawsuits. Hence, this thwarts the point that patenting their ideas are expensive and costly. In fact, it gives fair chance for small enterprises and innovators to succeed against unethical competitors. The day you plant the seed, you don't eat the fruit. Merit the process and it will bear fruit. Patenting indeed is the most fruitful security for innovators. And on that note, I rest my case. Thank you and over to the moderator.
Thank you, Kirtika. Well done. Good rebuttal there. Let's see how the judges are scoring you. I can see the judges' scores coming in. Datta sir, I have your score. Thank you. Bharat sir, I have your score as well. Thank you. Mr. Tak, I have your scores as well. Thank you. Saugandhika, you're up next.
Can I start?
Yeah. If you're ready with your arguments, your rebuttal, we will start your time for 4 minutes now.
If nature would ever demand payments towards patent rights, we all will be bankrupt. Resources that could be used to make a life-sustaining product are being wasted in patenting another. What I mean to say is the capital, intellectual time, and other resources are being misspent on patenting itself, with no guarantee that the innovation will come into markets. They add a cost and a hassle at many steps along the way. They add a series of hurdles that involve time, money, and effort for each step of that process. That alone significantly slows down innovation. Studies have shown, in fact, that most innovation is an ongoing series of innovations rather than a single burst of inspiration. Furthermore, great breakthroughs tend to come not from a single mind, but different people looking at the same problem and learning from each other's and building onto each other's work. As my worthy opponent mentioned that brands such as Samsung, Electronics, Canon have patented products through IVM in a streak, why do you think this has happened? The best attorneys, or I say the expensive attorneys, are hired by such brands. There could be other brands which produce a better product, but the brands with the best attorneys will get the product patented. My worthy opponent also mentioned that having a patent could prevent money from being wasted. I mean, have you ever calculated the money that is spent on filing a patent? A basic utility patent, also called a non-provisional patent, will cost between $5,000 to $15,000 to file. Lastly, my worthy opponent mentioned that patent creates a spiked wall. Well, the companies, as I mentioned, as vultures, have the bulldozers to break that wall down. Thank you so much, and over to the moderator.
Well done, Saugandhika, keeping it short and sweet. Let's see how the judges score you on that. Datta sir, I have your scores. Thank you. Bharat sir, I have your scores as well. Thank you. And Mrs. Tak, I have your scores as well. Thank you so much. Well, Megha, it's your turn.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you. And if you're ready with the rebuttal, we will start your 4 minutes on the clock now.
I would like to start my rebuttal with the most common saying, no pain, no gain. An invention is the hard work that takes many years of effort, which cannot be compared to the mere time duration or money to get a patent, as this patent will secure the fruit of their hard work. An invention made will be confined to a region in a particular country, but protects the product and benefits the inventor by making him or her the lead distributor with the sole right to the product's manufacture. Patent Cooperation Treaty is an international convention which makes it simple to apply for patents in multiple countries. PCT facilitates a single window application process. For example, if you want to file applications in multiple countries, then you could just file one application with WIPO, or the World IP Organization. International Bureau does initial research and examination and forwards the reports to individual countries. The PCT process brings down the overall cost by ensuring that initial search and examination is done only once. Apple is known to have several patents, including utility and design patents for its inventions. The brand also has uniqueness of having products that are not compatible with other goods of other brands. For example, if you have an Apple MacBook, you get a charger specifically built for that. These unique factors make it vital for the firm to invest in patents. As far as expiration of the patent is concerned, which the opposition mentioned about, the positive point is that you can still renew it without the fear that it has an expiry date and you will lose the sole right to the product you have invented. And now coming to infringement, as I mentioned in the case of Apple and Samsung, the compensation to be paid is much higher than all the expenses spent on infringement. The next point the opponent team had mentioned was about countries putting the invention into commercial use for a limited time frame, which is self-explanatory, indicating the positive aspects of patenting by exploring an opportunity for you to experiment with commercial aspect of your invention, which is actually a good sign and will help you to understand the commercial viability of your product. Substantiating my point on technological and market changes affecting a particular patent acquired, you need to seek the patent flexible enough to cover future changes. On this note, let me give an example. Apple is known to have a defensive strategy towards patent. This has been clear since the release of iPhone. According to an article in the New York Times, while Apple had been adept at filing patents when it came to the new iPhone, then the CEO Steve Jobs had a simple and decisive answer. We are going to patent it all. Hence, anything that could be patented is done by Apple. And it was patented in as many different ways as possible. For example, when inventing a new version of iPhone, not only the unique operating features is patented, but also its designs. This aggressive attitude towards patents provided protection from rivals and also gave them a defensive edge in lawsuits as well. Thank you, and over to the moderator.
Well done, Megha. Let's see those scores coming in. You guys won't be able to see, but I will. I quite enjoy this power play.
The rest of
Sir,
us
I can
not so
see.
much.
Yes, Surya. Datta sir, I can see your scores. Thank you so much. Bharat sir, I can see your score as well. Thank you. Mr. Tak, I have your scores as well. Thank you so much. Well, Sama, you're up next.
Yes, sir.
If we could have you back on camera. Yeah. Sama, if you're ready with your rebuttal,
Audio clear?
we can hear you. Yeah.
When truth and fairness are better than law, then it is better to follow truth and fairness than law. I, Sama Syed, once again emphasize strongly that legality is only a burden for new enterprises. On that note, I begin my rebuttal. One of our worthy opponents mentioned that patent laws prevent plagiarizing and intellectual theft. Let us reconsider this statement. A law cannot reach where enforcement will not follow. The patent law only instructs that plagiarizing is wrong, but for it to be enforced, infringement is to be proved. And this demands extensive amounts of capital and time, and that many new enterprises fail to invest. With this, I question how my esteemed opponents say that patent laws prevent plagiarizing and they help enterprises. Next in order, I refute the claim that patent laws ensure regulation. Patent laws are like spider webs. They catch small flies, but let dangerous wasps break through. These patent laws do not ensure regulation of rules, but shield large corporates to defend themselves to be sued of infringements. So in no way, as said by my worthy opponents, are these patent laws going to ensure regulation of rules. My esteemed opposition team also explained that licensing patent acts as revenue and attracts potential trade to budding expertise. Now, this purpose is not practically served by patents due to stringent patent laws. On an average, it currently takes 4 to 6 years from filing an application in India to getting a patent in India. A patent is granted after examination of the patent application by the patent office in 48 months. And after considering any oppositions to the patent applied, it reaches final stage of approval. The laws are making process of obtaining patent lengthier and expensive. As told already, the money, time, and effort invested in obtaining and maintaining a patent is overweighing the profits. I would like to assert and diminish the claim made by the worthy opposition that patent law establishes transparency and discloses all information. In 2015, a petition filed by legal academic Shamnath Bashir sought a direction from Delhi High Court to Patent Office to compel patentees and licensees to comply with the law and take action against those who fail to submit the required information. His research associates found in a sample survey that around 35% of patentees had not filed Form 27 at all between 2009 and 2012. The survey also found that the disclosures made by those who had filed the form were either incomplete or incomprehensible. Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and other pharmaceutical chains feel that existing Form 27 requirement of disclosure of information has become redundant and burdensome and are making patented inventions not aligned to practices that uphold practicality. Lastly, I insist to align my thought not as a lawbreaker, but if procedure follows law that is impractical, it doesn't matter how much damage there is. But if the right part fails, expect only a total collapse. On this note, I end my rebuttals. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Well done, Sama. Some forceful rebuttal there. Let's see how the judges are scoring you. Datta sir, I have your scores. Thank you. Bharat sir, I have your score as well. Thank you so much. Mr. Tuck, I have your scores as well. Thank you. Well, Guru Sai Prasad, I'll play it safe and say the whole name.
Yeah, Guru is just fine.
All right. If you're ready with your rebuttal, we'll start your time now.
So my worthy opponents made a few claims, and the first one is that it's not very worthwhile economically to get a patent because it costs $5,000 to $15,000 to get a patent, and honestly, that doesn't really make sense to me because if you're going to start a company, it takes more than $5,000 because generally a company requires seed money in the hundreds of thousands, and putting $5,000 into a long-term investment plan makes a lot of sense for me. And one more thing, they said that it doesn't lead to long-term investment, but one of the examples I gave clearly goes against that. The one example I'm talking about is the one of Amazon's one-click button. It was bought for around a few $1,000s in 1997, but today, right now, it goes for $40 million every year. Apple pays Amazon $40 million every year for that patent. So that's not really a valid point. Coming to Surya's claim that it won't really affect, and patents won't really affect the market, this debate isn't about the market. It's about small enterprises and how patents affect them. And patents affect them positively, and this is mentioned again and again in my points. And that brings me to my next point. Over half of my points haven't been proven wrong or rebutted by my worthy opponents, which leads me to believe that they don't really have the necessary requirements. And finally, one of the worthy opponents talked about the spike wall and how companies have bulldozers break them down, but they never really mentioned how. They said that they have district attorneys, but that's not really the case because if you have a well thought out patent, it really if you have a well thought out patent, it's very hard to get it taken down. With that, I end my rebuttal. Oh,
well done, Guru. Let's see how the judges are scoring you on that. Bharat sir, I have your scores. Thank you. Mr. Tuck, I have your scores as well. Thank you so much. Datta sir, I have your scores as well. Thank you. So now I have all the rebuttal scores. I have your initial scores, which means I have everyone's scores at the end of your 6 minutes of initial arguments and 4 minutes of rebuttal. And this is when I get to tell you a little bit about Notebook. As you all know, Notebook is an edtech brand. We are a company that works towards making education more accessible to each student out there. What we do is we take the school curriculum and we take every topic and make these short 6 to 10 minute long crisp videos about them. The advantages are twofold. First, the teachers who are taking the class, be it an online class or an offline class, can start with playing that video, which means that every student now has a visual understanding of the topic. And then the teacher can do a much deeper deliberation around that particular topic. Now come to your exams. It's been 6 months from the class, and if you're a student as bright as I was, you've forgotten most of what was taught in class. And therefore, you need something that will remind you of what exactly was taught in class and also help you revise the topic. This is when you have access to the same video on any personal device. It could be a laptop, a smartphone, whatever device you have access to, you can get the same video all over again. Not only does it help you revise the topic, but also reminds you what the teacher had said when she or he had played that video for you. What I'm going to do now is play a short clip of one of the Notebook videos for you while I go and tabulate those scores. Can we roll the video, please?
With the poem, let us have a quick look at our poet. Vikram Seth is an Indian novelist and poet. He was born in 1952 in Calcutta, now Kolkata. He has received several awards such as Padma Shri, Sahitya Academy Award, Pravasi Bharatiya Samman, W.H. Smith Literary Award, and Crossword Book Award. His works include The Golden Gate, A Suitable Boy, and A Suitable Girl. His poetry collections include Beastly Tales, Three Chinese Poets, and All You Who Sleep Tonight. Let us now begin with the poem. This poem has the same kind of theme as other pieces that were taught to you in lower classes, such as Ozymandias and In the Kingdom of Fools. Two different kinds of themes come together in this poem. The first is how people in power are often obsessed with building statues and structures to commemorate their own triumphs and victories, and why this is completely futile. The second is how, when foolish people are placed in positions of power, they can make arbitrary and random decisions that go completely against any rational logic or even against the general welfare of citizens. Just like the king and the minister in the Kingdom of Fools, the king in this poem is so full of himself that he uses his powers arbitrarily, and it ultimately leads to his own downfall. The Tale of Melon City by Vikram Seth. In the city of which I sing, there was a just and placid king. The king proclaimed an arch should be constructed that triumphally would span the major thoroughfare to edify spectators there. The workmen went and built the thing. They did so since he was the king. The king rode down the thoroughfare to edify spectators there. The narrator begins a tale of a city where the king was just and placid. Just means fair, and placid is a word that means calm. The use of irony begins here, as the king, as we shall very soon see, was neither just nor placid. The king formally ordered for an arch to be built across the major route of the city. He wanted the arch to signify his triumphs and victories. The workmen followed the order and completed the arch. Soon, the king visited the route to motivate and instruct the others to follow him. Under the arch, he lost his crown. The arch was built too low. A frown appeared on his placid face. The king said, "This is a disgrace. The chief of builders will be hanged." The rope and gallows were arranged. The chief of builders was led out. He passed the king. He gave a shout, "O king, it was the workmen's fault." "Oh," said the king, and called a halt. As the king rode under the arch, his crown got caught in the low arch and fell down. Obviously, it was the king's fault, as he failed to lower his head while passing underneath the arch. However, the humor in the poem is brought out by the king's blindness to the reality of the situation and his eagerness to show off his power by randomly blaming someone else for an insignificant accident. The king was so pompous and self-important that he took this as a matter of great disgrace and angrily ordered the chief of builders to be executed. On his way to the execution, the chief builder pleaded that it was the workmen's fault and not his. This made the king stop for a while and consider his decision.
Well, that right there was a short clip from one of the notebook videos. Especially Megha and Saugandhika, who had their cameras on. Watching you react to that video was a treat. That's exactly the kind of reactions we are hoping to get. Well, we have with us today Achin Bhattacharyya. Achin is the founder and CEO of Notebook, who has also sat through the wonderful debate that has happened so far. Achin, we could have you, if we could have you say a few words about the kind of debating we have seen so far, and also about the zero-hour vision.
Good evening, everyone. Great session, I must say. Sama, Megha, Saugandhika, Kirtika, Surya, and Guru. Very well done. All of you have really made your mark by not only being selected to represent your school, but also by reaching the quarterfinal of this international debate. It's a matter of great pride. And I'm sure that each one of you will achieve many more laurels in your journey ahead in the years to come. My best wishes to each one of you for the road ahead. Now, we have changed the format from quarterfinal onwards. And when we were deliberating on the same, we significantly wanted to increase the weightage of the rebuttal round with an objective of promoting listening skills and spontaneity. And I must appreciate how each one of you have stood up to the challenge and demonstrated your quick thinking and logical articulation and deliberation. Now, in any competitive event, beyond a certain stage, the pyramid only gets steeper. So my hearty congratulations to the yet to be announced winners. For other participants, all I'll say is the better team of the day will win. But I'm confident that every end is a new beginning, and teams which doesn't proceed to the next round will only go from strength to strength and be even better in the days to come. At Notebook, we really aspire to engage with each one of you and work together towards a better tomorrow. With 10,000 videos and more than 1 million users, we are still very much at our infancy. It is our resolve to keep the spirit of our schoolgoers high, and we at Notebook will regularly come up with new thought-provoking ideas to connect with schools and students across the globe, to form a unique bonding and passion for excellence among like-minded educators and students. I also thank all stakeholders who have contributed to this wonderful session. All the learned adjudicators, principals of all the 3 schools, and all teachers and parents who have invested there today for a better tomorrow for their children. Me and my entire team at Notebook salute you for your contribution towards building a better world. I also thank the enthusiastic response that we have got from our audience. We indeed thank them for making 0 Hour a grand success. Now, we already had more than 30,000 people attending our 0 Hour sessions and Together for Education webinars. Indeed, at Notebook, we are humbled. Take care, stay safe, and goodbye. Over to you, Shubhayu.
Thank you, Achin. Thank you for those wonderfully encouraging words. Well, at 0 Hour, we are also very proud to have partnered with Save the Children. Save the Children, as most of you must already know, is an NGO that's just over a century old. For over a century, they have been working across the globe tirelessly to help children who are not as fortunate as most of us. A lot of children across the globe face premature death and grow up in hostile environments. Save the Children works across the globe to ensure that they have a better today, a better childhood. Here is a short message from their CEO, Ms. Vidisha Pillai, that I would like to share with all of you.
Save the Children was born in 1919. 100 years is not a milestone that many organizations or individuals can claim to have reached. And for us, it's been a tireless, relentless journey to ensure that every child has access to their rights, every child has a voice. But when we look back at 100 years, because 100 is also a time to reflect, we wonder what it would be like to live in a world where children don't need to be saved. Perhaps we could live in a world where Save the Children does not need to exist. And so as we look at the future, we envision a world which is much kinder to its children. A world in which children no longer need to be protected from violence, where children are not needlessly dying before they turn 5, where every child is going to school, is learning, is playing, and is on that path towards fulfilling their full potential. As we turn 100, we pledge to work towards that future of a much kinder and brighter world for children. Every day, every hour, every minute, we will continue on that path. But we also know we can't do it alone. We want to work closely with the communities, with our partners, with the government, and most importantly, with the children themselves. They are going to be the change makers of tomorrow. Children like Onuyara, like Rahul, like Salman, like Mamta, they are the ones who are breaking gender stereotypes. They are challenging social norms, and they are changing the world and the lives of themselves and also children around them. We pledge to continue working with them, alongside them, to ensure that every child gets the right start. I'm Bidisha Pillai, and I invite you to join Save the Children in our commitment to ensure that every child gets the right start.
Well, those are the messages that I had for you. And now that they're done, it is time to take a look at what you've been waiting for, the scores. So these, after each of yours, 6 minutes of argument and 4 minutes of rebuttal time, are the scores. I leave the mental maths up to you so that you can calculate from this table your individual averages, your team averages, and decide who's the winner. Right? Fairly easy maths there. Let me help you out a little bit. These are the school averages. The Epistemo Vikas school, the two speakers getting 144 and 141, end with an average of 143 at this stage. Ramana, Vidyalaya, Chennai, the two speakers are at 129 and 128. So the school's average right now is 129. The Indian Language School, Lagos, the two speakers are at 147 and 148, which gives your school an average of 148. And this is where it gets interesting, because the audience gets to choose their favorite speaker. And the audience's choice of the favorite speaker gets 20 more points added to their tally. Right, so members in the audience, this is where you get to do some work. You have been treated to some fabulous debating. Now you'll pay for it. You have to choose between 6 fabulous debaters, your choice of the speaker of the day. You will have 6 names coming up on your screen in a poll. Please don't raise your hands, it's not going to count. The poll is up on your screen now. You have 1 minute to vote, so get voting. We have about 335 people in attendance, so those many votes are going to come in. About 20 seconds and 80% of the votes in. About halfway through, we are at 90% votes. Let's see if we can hit 100% on that. Last 15 seconds. The last couple of seconds, and it's a minute. These are the results on your screen with 48% of the votes from the members of the audience. Megha Gopikuttan, you are our speaker of the day, which means your school gets those 20 additional very valuable points there. Congratulations, all of you. I'm going to invite the judges to come back one by one and give your feedback about the debate that you've just witnessed while I tabulate the final tally. Mr. Datta, sir, if you can start with you, please.
Well, it's customary to say that it was a close-fought contest, but then Megha, you really made it good finally, and I'm glad because honestly, in my first round, I thought that I had given you a little less than what I later felt I should have given you. So many congratulations, and you guys really did well. The best part was the way your rebuttals went, you know, because either they become too personal or they are just generic comments that come to fill up time. But in your case and of your school partner, they were well thought, balanced, and very well justified. So congratulations to you. The overall standards of debating were very good. I must also comment on that, you know, because sometimes, well, you just have to choose the best out of the lot. But here that was not the case. And it's very, very heartening to see these young kids, you know, so confident, so calm, so composed, putting their thoughts across. And on that count, yes, everybody deserves a round of, you know, applause. But there's no live audience to applaud for you. But then virtually, yes, I would do that for you all. Congratulations all for such a wonderful debate today.
Well, sir, thank you for that. Very, very encouraging words, and you're absolutely right. It gets very, very difficult to choose at times. Mr. Bharat, sir, if we can have you.
Thank you very much, Shubhayu. Another very, very interesting debate. It's a great honor to be judging the the quarterfinal debate. And I was treated to a feast of debating. It's getting better and better. I didn't know much about this topic, and I had to read up something in the afternoon about patents and trademarks and copyright. I even phoned a lawyer friend of mine who is a patent and copyright judge. And let me tell you that, the facts and the points that all of you six provided was much more than I read or even heard from my lawyer friend. You have done such wonderful research. In terms of styles, let me say that while each of you has his own unique style of debating, it is also obvious that as a school, the two of you, as a part of a school, also had your unique school stamp on your debating. Maybe this comes from your teacher or the debating style that your school has traditionally followed. So I like the person who went before me said, the sir who went before me. It's a wonderful experience. I really loved it. You engaged with us. If I might just add one little point, in the rebuttal, it's better to take on and challenge some of the points you've heard rather than carry on with adding your own points. The rebuttal is really meant for you to confute the ideas that you have heard in the course of the debate. And with that, I'm handing this over to you, Subayu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Tak, if we could have you back. Mr. Tak has been very nice and kind to us. He even adjudicated the first debate, so it's 2 debates back to back for him. Sir, if you could have your comments, please.
Good evening, everyone. And of course, it's a pleasure to actually listen to children debate. I can listen to them all day, in fact. And at Save the Children, we do work with many children. In fact, we work with even the deprived children, many of whom don't even go to school. And I might tell you that 2 of these children have actually even gone to New York and spoken to world leaders of the United Nations General Assembly. So children, like yourselves, are quick to learn. Are even on a very topic like this, which is so technical, you were able to speak so eloquently. It was a learning experience just to see you talk and to see your confidence. And some of these stories of the children, like the 2 girls I told you about, one girl lives in the slum of Dharavi, her name is Saleha. One girl called Anuyara, who is living in the Sundarbans, who was actually trafficked and was a child laborer working in a household in Delhi until she was rescued. They are the 2 girls who have gone to the UNGA in New York and spoken to world leaders. So children can do amazing things. The stories of 15 of these children are actually captured in a book that I have co-authored with Rashmi Bansal this year. The book is called We Are the Champions. If you get a chance to take a look at it on Amazon or Kindle. And yeah, I'm sure many of you will go along to create fabulous stories for yourselves, and really look forward to hearing more about it. Wish you all the very best in the future. So the best team might win today. For today's event, but each of you is a winner for us, and I wish you all the success in times to come.
Well, thank you so much to all the judges for your words of encouragement. And these, ladies and gentlemen, are the final scores on your screens. With those 20 additional points, ILS Lagos finish at 168 points, and they qualify for the semi-finals. This is where, at this stage of the competition, we bid goodbye to Epistemo Vikas and Ramana Vidyalaya Chennai. But both the teams, fantastically well done. You have stood out in very, very tough pools to come all this way. And I'm sure, as Achin said, you'll go from strength to strength. With that, ladies and gentlemen, a quick announcement of today's winner, the Indian Language School, Lagos, Nigeria. We will see you at the semi-finals. We will let you know the schedule, whether it's the one that we have day after tomorrow or the day after. With that, we will leave you for the day and hope to see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock for our quarterfinal number 3. Until then, take care and goodbye.
All right. Bye-bye.